Good morning, toddler friends. I'm so excited to see you today. I have a really special book to read to you. This has always been one of my favorites. Curious George Feeds the Animals. I know a lot of you love Curious George and also love animals. I see a kangaroo. That must be a mama kangaroo with the baby kangaroo in her pocket. Let's see what happens when George feeds the animals. This is George. He was a good little monkey and was always very curious. Who's feeling curious today? One day, George went to the zoo with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. A new rainforest exhibit was opening, and they wanted to be the first ones inside. Look at that man with the yellow hat. He always has such a big, tall hat on. I see a picture. It says rainforest, grand opening. Uh-oh, I see another little sign. And it says postponed. What does postponed mean? Let's read it. But when they got to the new exhibit, the doors were closed. We'll have to come back later, George, the man said. Why don't we visit the other animals while we wait? First, they stopped to watch a zookeeper feed the seals. When he tossed little fish in the air, the seals jumped up to catch them. Then they barked for more. It looked like fun to feed the animals. Look at that zookeeper. He's tossing the fish right into the seals. They're so hungry. When they stopped to see the crocodile, George remembered how the zookeeper had fed fish to the seals. He was curious. Would the crocodiles like something to eat? Would you like something to eat too, George? Asked the man with the yellow hat, and he bought a snack for them to share. George tossed him the treat, and the crocodile snapped it out of the air. Uh-oh, do you think that's crocodile food or food for just George? Next, they visited the koalas. George thought the koalas were cute. Here was a friendly one. She was curious, too. She wanted to see what George was eating, so he held out his hand to share. Oh, now he's feeding koalas. George shared his treats with an elephant and a baby kangaroo. Oh my goodness, George. He's so mischievous. We love this silly monkey, don't we? George was making lots of new friends at the zoo. The lion was already eating, but the hippopotamus tried a snack. Next, he gave a treat to an ostrich. Who knows what an ostrich is? Do you see it? Ostriches are big birds. They have tall legs, fluffy feathers, and a long neck. And I see a hippopotamus. He's licking his chops. There are the kangaroos and the lion. Then George saw the giraffes. What fun to feed a giraffe. Giraffes usually have their heads up high in the trees, but George could see these giraffes would be easy to feed. Oh, look at it. But as soon as he held out his hand, a zookeeper came running, and the zookeeper looked angry. Was he angry with George? George didn't know, and he did not want to find out, so he slipped away. That zookeeper does look angry. Can you show me your angry face? That kind of looks like an angry, mad face, doesn't it? The giraffes were happy to help George sneak away. Look at that! But where did George go? Uh-oh, I see the zookeeper. He has a big net. And I see a little squirrel. Hi, squirrel. He was trying his best to hide, but little monkeys can't stay still for long. When George wiggled, the zookeeper was waiting. I see you, he said. Just then, another zookeeper hurried by. Come quick, she yelled. Someone saw the parrot. The first zookeeper led George to a bench. The parrot from our new exhibit escaped, and I must help find it, he said. He told George to wait for him there, and before he left, he said, "Don't you know you're not supposed to feed the animals? The wrong food might make animals sick." George felt awful. He did not know he wasn't supposed to feed the animals, and he really didn't want to make them sick. George was looking at the treat in his hand when all of a sudden, what happened? A big bird swooped right down and snatched that snack right up. Now, George knew he wasn't supposed to feed the animals, but this one had helped itself. A zookeeper passing by was happy to see George. "You found the parrot," she said. "We've been looking for this bird all day." When she saw George's snack, she said, "This isn't the best thing to feed a parrot, but a little won't hurt. Would you like to help me put him back where he belongs?" George was glad to help after all the trouble he caused, and together they went back to the exhibit. See, George helped find that escaped parrot. He is a good helper. "There's our problem," the zookeeper said, pointing to a hole in the net. As the zookeepers discussed how to fix it, George had an idea. He climbed up like only a monkey could, and when he reached the hole, he tied the netting back together. Meanwhile, the first zookeeper returned. "Catch that naughty monkey," he yelled. He was feeding the animals. "But that little monkey found the parrot," another zookeeper told him. "And look, he fixed the netting. Now we can open the exhibit." When George came down, all the zookeepers cheered. "Yay, George! Good job, George!" Finally, the celebration began and the doors were open. The man with the yellow hat was there, and he and George got to be the first ones inside. As George walked in, the zookeepers thanked him for all his help. "Please visit any time," they said. George couldn't wait to come back and see his friends. But next time he'd remember, unless you're a zookeeper, don't feed the animals. Thanks for reading that book with me. Isn't it a good one? I really love it. The sun is shining today, and I think I'm going to go outside and see if I see any birds in my yard. Maybe I could put some birdseed down for them. What are you going to do today? That sounds like fun. I'll see you later. Bye, toddler friends.